What is up, YouTube? Another night, another live stream, and we are super pumped, of course, to be hanging out with all y'all tonight. You know, we streamed on, I think Edison asked, Caleb, are you going to stream on Friday? And I said, sure, I'll stream on Friday. And then decided to throw in a little bit of an extra Saturday stream at you because I know how important this week is. As always, hit that like button if you're in here and you haven't already. Helps me out so much. We're answering every start-sit question here tonight. And Edison, yes, you love Saturday night streams. I know, I'm doing this just for you, Edison. And you said, my new situation, I need 2 wide receivers, 2 flex. I got AJ, DK, Charb, Addison, Bucky, Pacheco, Josh Downs. I need 2 wide receivers, 2 flex. Okay, so I'm starting AJ Brown. Do you need only 1 for the 2 wide receivers? Then you need 2 flex, Edison. Is that how you're, or do I need 2 wide receivers and 2 flex, Edison? Trying to make sure that I have this correct for you. I would go with AJ, Charb, and then the 2 flex, or AJ and DK. Where do I have DK in regards to Addison? I messed around with my rankings this morning, and I'm over here now doubting where I have Addison. No, I would go with Addison. So I would go with AJ and Addison. Yeah, I'm not starting DK. I don't feel comfortable with him this week. And then I would go with Charb and Bucky in the 2 flexes. I saw Bucky got a limited practice in, so it's close between Bucky and Pacheco, depending on which way you want to go. I mean, I know we saw Rashad White absolutely blow the hinges off everything last week with Bucky dealing with that hit pointer, but I would lean Bucky over Pacheco this week. Would be how I would do it. But Edison, you are kind of in a little bit of a pickle there, my guy. Jesse said, happy Saturday. I know I've asked you this a couple times this week, but Tracy or Thielen both have pros and cons. Tracy versus number 1 Russian D, very limited opportunities, and Thielen has Coker coming back. Yeah. I feel like, Jesse, I've given you a different answer very, very consistently here. And so I respect you coming back to the well. But Jesse, if I were you, and we're sitting here and we're looking at tomorrow's game slate, I would go with Adam Thielen. Both have the pros and cons. Yeah, you can tell me Tyron Tracy's going to get more opportunities, but like we said, offense is probably not going to be as good. But we got Coker coming back for Carolina, but I still lean Adam Thielen. He's on a hot streak. Let's ride that hot streak. Jesse, I'd go with Adam Thielen. Have him about 8 spots higher in my flex rankings. David, appreciate you being here. You said, do I give Achane and Cook for Bucky and Mixon? I got to buy this week. David, somehow the trade deadline's still out there? Crazy. Do I give Achane and Cook for Bucky and Mixon? I'm trying to put this into my perspective on who I want for next week, because I've started my next week rankings, but I haven't flipped anything. So I prefer Devon over Mixon, but then Cook versus Bucky. Yeah, I think you gotta go. I think you gotta keep the Achane and Cook side. I think down the stretch, because if we're looking at Devon for next week, I really like the matchup versus San Francisco. So I personally, David, would lean with holding on to your side with Cook and Bucky, but I understand that Cook hasn't been ideal there, David, for you at all. But I would hold your side. If you asked me that question maybe 2 weeks ago, I'd probably lean the Mixon side. But right now, I do want the Achane and Cook side. Carlos, appreciate you tuning in. You said Tua or Murray this week. I personally go with Kyler Murray this week, but just so you know, Carlos, have them 3 spots apart, so that's super close in my quarterback rankings. Tua going up against Houston, we like that matchup, but Kyler versus New England, I think they're going to probably get up early on in this game, and that's probably going to be because of Kyler and what he's going to be able to do throwing the ball down the field. So I'm leaning Kyler Murray in this matchup. But I understand, like, Tua, if we look at his last 4 games, he's put up all over 20 fantasy points. So maybe the safer option is Tua for the upside, but Kyler has the ultimate level ceiling with that Konami code rushing ability. Wait, Caleb, appreciate you. Wait, thanks for tuning in. Tato Plays said London or Evans for wide receiver 2. I will be going with Mike Evans here, Tato. I have both in my top. Where are we both sliding in? Mike Evans. Where are we at? Yeah, I'm sorry. I was looking at my rankings. We got Drake London sliding in as our overall wide receiver 14, and I have Mike Evans sliding as my wide receiver 11. Like I said, just kind of depends on how this week goes for both of them. Drake London, it's a good matchup versus Vegas, so I do like that. But we'll have to like continue just to monitor Mike Evans. I know he's not dealing with an injury or anything last week, coming back only 6.9, not 6.9. I'm looking at standard stats here for Mike Evans, only 10.9 fantasy points. Since he's come back off the bye and the injury, 11, 25, 10 hasn't been the greatest. But as we all know, when we get to the playoffs, that's when Mike Evans likes to absolutely come out and shine and destroy people's hopes. So I would go with Mike Evans there. Tato plays. Carlos said McConkey, Thielen, or Jacoby Myers if they all play sit one PPR. Yeah, if I have to sit one of these guys, I will be sitting Adam Thielen. I prefer Myers. I prefer Ladd McConkey. But the good news is there's a chance that Ladd is not. I say not good news because I want Ladd to play. I think that will help you out. But you might have this decision made for you tomorrow here, Carlos. Tato coming in says London. Or, yeah, Tato. I would go with Evans. Shawan, good to see you, man. You said Herbert or A-Rich at quarterback this week. We got Kanamiko quarterback upside with Anthony Richardson versus Denver. They've been absolutely a very tough defense to play against. I personally lean with Justin Herbert versus Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay has a little bit of injury issues that are happening across their defense. So I think that plays into Justin Herbert. Now, the problem is if Justin Herbert does not have Ladd, then of course we feel a little bit less about Justin Herbert, but I still lean Justin Herbert with or without Ladd over Anthony Richardson there. So I want to appreciate you being here. Sewell said, what's up? Following up to yesterday, you still think Myers over Metcalf rest of season standard scoring? Yes, Sewell. I still believe in Jacoby Myers over Metcalf rest of season. Two wide receivers too. Good. Glad I answered that right for Edison. Moses, good to see you. You said, my guy, Caleb, appreciate you. You said full PPR, Hurts, Barkley, Brian Robinson, J-Mo, Jacoby Myers, K. Dotton, flexing Elijah Moore, Boswell, kicker, Ravens, D. Am I okay? I mean, it's not ideal in your wide receiver front. I mean, Jacoby Myers is a top 20 option for me this week, but Jameson Williams, Elijah Moore, I feel like that's probably not enough firepower from the wide receivers with K. Dotton, who has been struggling. So you're banking on a huge Saquon Barkley day to help you. I had Brian Robinson ranked as a top 15 running back. I'm a little bit worried about the firepower here, Moses. I don't know what team you're going up with, but that's kind of my feeling. And you said going back to my lineup, also James Cook, but I'm so uncertain about him because of the committee they got. I put Elijah Moore over him, especially if Njoku was out in full PPR. Thoughts? Yeah, James Cook. I feel like people are talking about James Cook and people are talking about like Malik and Neighbors. That's kind of been the two biggest talking points this week, and AJ Brown. I'm still leaning James Cook over Elijah Moore this week. And I understand Moore will get bumped up my rankings, but I still think you gotta. The upside's there with Elijah Moore, but he doesn't have the floor that James Cook does. So I personally would go with James Cook there, Moses. And we got Mind Hayes coming in with the $5 super chat. Mind, dude, appreciate you. I know I answered your question earlier, but I appreciate you coming through with the 5. It means the absolute world. You said, yo, can we really trust Neighbors this week with DeVito? I'm thinking about rolling with Marvin Harrison Jr. and Waddle. I don't. I think that's somebody that, if you asked me this question on Wednesday, Mind, I would say, yep, no, I'm not worried about Malik Neighbors. He's a super talented guy. He's going to get 10 plus targets. It's going to be fine. But I think as the week has kind of progressed, I've started to be like, huh. And I would personally go with Marvin Harrison Jr. and who was the other guy that you mentioned? And Waddle. Yeah, I'm going with both of those guys over Malik Neighbors. I think Malik Neighbors, it's a bad matchup versus Baltimore. Not that the Baltimore secondary hasn't been beatable, because they have, but their front seven just going to destroy the Giants, and Tommy DeVito I don't think is that type of guy, even though he has got that Italiano. So I personally would go with Marvin Harrison Jr. or Waddle, and that sucks because like I'm in a bunch of leagues where Malik Neighbors is my wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, but yeah, it's not looking too hot for him this week, Mind. Appreciate you being here. Sorry that I didn't get your super chat earlier, but appreciate you, Mind. Shout out to Trix for being here. Seawolf said Geno or Herbert rest of season in standard. I believe you're going to have to keep rolling out good old Herbo. Geno's look good. He has looked good. I think just the little bit of small rushing upside that Justin Herbert's going to possess, especially like we got Tampa Bay this week. We got Denver next week, which isn't ideal, but championship week he does have New England. So there are some good matchups for Justin Herbert down the stretch there. We got bundles 2.0. I say, I know this is a crazy question, but Zach Charbonnet or Chase Brown, running back 2 is Derrick Henry. Zach went off last week big. Yeah, so you're in a position here, bundles, where you got a good enough running back room and you're struggling. So you don't have a flex spot where you can play one of them, because I personally this week have Derrick Henry as my RB1. I have Chase Brown as my RB6, and then I have Zach Charbonnet sliding in right now as my RB11. So personally for me, I mean, I'm still putting Chase Brown and Derrick Henry over, but the fact that you can't find a way to slide in Zach Charbonnet is unfortunate. That one Marshall said sit one. Zach Charbonnet, JSN, or Garrett Wilson. I believe it's going to be Garrett Wilson. Yeah, I'm starting Zach Charbonnet and Garrett Wilson. Or I'm starting Zach Charbonnet and JSN over Garrett Wilson. So I would be sitting Garrett Wilson there, that one Marshall, this week. I have Garrett Wilson as my wide receiver 18. I have JSN sliding in as my wide receiver 17, so it's like one spot ahead. And then I have Zach Charbonnet, as we said, my RB11. Wanderer said, need to start 2.5 PPR and pro similar to my opponent, Kamara, AJ Brown, Rico Dowdle. Feel like I need to get Rico in there against Panthers D. Also starting Hurts. Need to start 2. Yeah, I mean, this is where I do like Rico Dowdle this week as it's a good matchup, but I'm still taking AJ Brown. I'm still taking Alvin Kamara over Rico Dowdle. I mean, AJ Brown has ultimate level upside. I mean, so does Rico Dowdle. Rico Dowdle has probably a better floor. But even in 0.5 PPR, I still want the AJ Brown side and the Kamara side. But especially with you having that Hurts stack, like let's a win or go home. Like let's go big or go home with AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts. Sometimes all you need is a little bit of conflict to create a resolution. And that's probably what just occurred this last week on the team. B. Silva said Ferguson or Kraft, 0.5 PPR. Butker first week off injury. Ricard or Koo. I would go with Ricard as the kicker there, B. Silva. And then I would go with Kraft for my tight end, B. Silva. Appreciate you being here. Like I said, guys, if you haven't already, hit that like button. We're answering every start-sit question here tonight. Like I said, I understand I'm not always perfect with my start-sit decisions, but I do want to answer them and hopefully give you guys the best advice I can. And what I'd be doing. C said, thanks for doing the Saturday show. You went above and beyond. Of course, of course. I felt bad. I honestly was planning on like recording a video today. We're going to start making some Dynasty content. I'm going to make probably for next week, like a stash and a rookie mock video for Dynasty. But I also want to keep, of course, for all you guys pursuing championships, I want to keep pushing out as much redraft and questions that I can to answer. And I just knew that this was going to be the best way to do it. We got Moses in here. With the 5, he says, you've been awesome all year to me. You're knowledgeable and you give great insight. Thanks for your help and advice all year, Caleb. Moses, dude, I appreciate you, bro. Thanks so much. Going up and beyond, man, with the $5 super chat. Listen, I'll say this, like a lot of you that have found the channel, like it blows my mind. Like you guys have been the best community. You guys have been awesome. I can't thank you enough that I just turn on the camera and I can have like 20 people. I know when it was like prime season, we were getting like 45 to 50 people in here, which was awesome. But y'all have stuck around, and you guys are all here because you're in your fantasy football playoffs. So Moses, appreciate you so much, man. Thanks for the absolute kind words. Let's see. Next question. We got Tony in here. He said, hey, Caleb, Tua or Goff this week? I think we're going to have to go with Tua. Goff has been cooking, though. I will say that about Jared Goff. But Tua versus Houston, I just think we've seen the consistency that he's had over these last few weeks. And the idea of like, I feel like they're going to rely a lot heavier on the run game for Jared Goff and the Lions versus the Bills. I think it's probably going to be high scoring. But then some of these like high key matchups where both defenses are very good, they can sometimes end up being a defensive shootout. So it'll be interesting to see, but I prefer Tua. I think he's the safer, also has more upside option there. Tony. Seawolf said Myers or London in the flex and standard. I will be going with Drake London in the flex for standard, my guy. Trick said, oh yeah, it was a good season. Notes for next year. Continued drafting a solid tight end. Never draft ETN again. Avoid Denver running backs. Puka, Chase, and Lamb are them. Yeah, let's go through that. Yeah, we're going to be doing late round tight end. Don't be afraid to draft an elite level running back in the first 3 rounds. Wide receivers. I actually think wide receivers, this is a great talk, Tricks. I do think next year wide receivers are actually going to be undervalued heading into redraft leagues based on how they perform this year. So I think Like if you look at the points per game between like the top wide receivers, top running backs, of course running backs are winning right now. But I do think that what happens in the fantasy space is everyone like swings the pendulum so far to the other side that if you're like kind of more in the moderate, like you swing back, you understand we can maybe draft a lot more running backs early, but you still are willing to take more wide receivers. I do think you're going to be in a really good spot next year. B Silva said Rashad White or DK in 0.5 PPR. B Silva, I will be going with Rashad White in 0.5 PPR. Mind Hay said, you the man, get some rest, bro. Appreciate you. I didn't realize this. I'm going with my family tomorrow. Got my in-laws to a Iowa Michigan State women's basketball game that got scheduled for noon tomorrow. So I'm like, yikes, I'm going to a basketball game during the first week of the fantasy football playoffs. So y'all wish I'll be having YouTube TV pulled up on my phone at the game because I do prefer more about the NFL. But that's okay. Family's important. Edison said, I'm thinking picking Herbert up for week 7 over Lamar. Thoughts? Edison. I like your thinking, but I would not be doing that. Lamar's been him. You're gonna win or lose with Lamar. I understand the Pittsburgh matchup isn't great, but you're gonna have to roll Lamar out there. I'm not telling you to start Herbert over Lamar, even though it is a bad matchup for him next week. Bundle says, should I flex Zach Charbonnet over Devontae Adams? My 2 starting wide receivers are Amon or St. Brown and Tyreek. Bundles, I forget if you said this. I forget if you said this was PPR or not. Yeah, I would be going with Zach Charbonnet over Devontae Adams. But yeah, I'm just starting Tyreek and Amon or St. Brown in those spots. But I believe I go Zach Charbonnet. I think Zach Charbonnet's both have upside. We saw that with Devontae Adams like 2 weeks ago. But I just think Zach Charbonnet is going to get more volume. So the floor is going to be a little bit higher for Zach Charbonnet. I think they both have similar ceilings. Casey said, T. Higgins or Bucky Irving took my bye week away last week. Start 1, flex 1. Breece Hall, T. Higgins, Rashad White, Bucky Irving, Tracy Jr., Quentin Johnston. I'll be starting T. Higgins. And then, as scary as this is going to sound, I think we got to go with Breece Hall, assuming he's healthy. I know there's still like the worry of playing him or not, but I feel like you're going to have to play Breece Hall versus this Jacksonville defense, if that's the case. But if Breece Hall isn't able to go, then Casey, or we get like word like he's super banged up and you're feeling risky about it, then I would just go with Rashad White. Appreciate you, Casey. B Silva said, start 1, flex, full PPR, Njoku, worried for Hammond first quarter. Nick Westbrook, Akine, Alec Pierce, or McNichols. Yeah, this one you're making me feel uber confident in. I think you got to go Nick. Yeah, I think you got to go Nick Westbrook, Akine. I don't feel great about it, but you can just hope that last week, he realized what it felt like not to score a touchdown, and this week he comes back and scores a touchdown. I go with Nick Westbrook, Akine, though. Edison said, would you start Bucky if he plays banged up? Edison, it depends on who he's going up against. I will be starting him in a lineup if he is healthy. He's dealing with a hip pointer. The issue is if he gets tackled on that hip, that thing could get re-aggravated pretty easily. I know Bucky's a tough guy. Whatever, they're all NFL players. They're all tough, but it depends on who I'm evaluating or debating him against, Edison, I guess is the real question, which isn't great analysis for me. But assuming he plays, he's going to be sliding in right now as my RB25. So he's going to be between Sincere McCormick and Tyrone Tracy. That's kind of the range that I have him projected at, Edison. Juan said, who for my wide receiver 2, RB1, 2, and flex? Got Justin Jefferson at wide receiver 1. My wide receivers are Jennings. Well, Jennings already played, so I don't know if you already played him, but I would go with Jacoby Myers as your wide receiver 2. Your running backs, I would go with, homie, I'm assuming, did Kyron already play for you, Juan? Because some of these players already played, bro. So I don't think you can put Kyron in your lineup if he isn't already there, unless I'm wrong, Juan. I mean, I would go with Zach Charbonnet, and assuming you didn't play Kyron, then I would just go with Breece. And then I would go with Kittle. Well, Kittle already played. So I assume you already went with Kittle? Juan, let me know. I'll answer this better once I see your comment. I'm not trying to make you wait. We only have a few more questions to get to before I get back to your question. But let me know who are some of these people already in your lineup. Let me know. Senior Rojo said, "Hey Caleb, I played Cup, Jennings, Kittle. Which two can I play with the best upside?" I played Cup, Jen. Which two can I play with the best upside? Senor, I don't know who you're talking about. I don't know which two you want me to look at. I don't know if you were typing them out. Appreciate you, Senor, though. Like I said, I want to answer these questions. B. Silva said, Edison, Lamar's going to go off based on his mama's comments, telling from more. Sometimes you just got to listen to mama. Hunter said, Caleb, I made it. Let's go, Hunter. Dude, good to see you, man. Went with my gut last week. Put in Reek instead of Tracy. Thanks. Did I tell you to go Tracy instead of Reek? I forget who I told you to go, Hunter, but glad that worked out, man. Glad that worked out. Shaiwan said Marv or Tracy. I'll go with Marv. I'll go with Marv there. Shaiwan. Jeff said, Caleb, my dude, is finally on. Need important question answered, and only you can help. One flex, full PPR. Ridley, Jacoby Myers, BTJ, or Sincere McCormick. Thanks. Yep. This is an option where all these guys are very similarly ranked. I have Calvin Ridley and BTJ about 2 spots apart. At this current moment, I lean Calvin Ridley. But if you wanted to convince me on Brian Thomas, who's put up 16 and 18 the last 2 weeks, he's at a 25.6% target share, you can convince me. Right now, I would, like, Jeff, if you put like strapped a bomb to my chest and told me to jump, I would tell you to go Calvin Ridley. But I'll say that this is super close between BTJ and Calvin Ridley. So if you have a preference between the two, I'll let you make that end decision. But I would go Calvin Ridley. Andrea, good to see you. J-Rat said, I have a hot take for you. Brock Bowers at pick 2 in the draft next year. They say tight ends take off year 2, and he's a dominant force now. J-Rad, I hear you. I think next year, I mean, who you're going to take him over Saquon next year? Because it's like, what, Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson. I don't think I can take Brock Bowers over them. I think Brock Bowers will be a first-round pick, but I think the points per... I mean, he's such a dominant tight end. Like, I get it, J-Rad. I think the world of Brock Bowers. I have him on a ton of fantasy football teams. I have him on a ton of dynasty teams. So I absolutely love Brock Bowers. I think it'll be interesting to see. I think he probably ends up somewhere around like pick 6 to 8 would be my prediction. J-Rad. Andrea said, Lad McConkey or Zach Charbonnet PPR. Andrea, I will be going with Zach Charbonnet there. Blizzard said, hey, Caleb, tough decision this week. Got to start 2 of Garrett Wilson, BTJ, DK. Which would you go? Thanks. Yeah, Blizzard, I would go with Garrett Wilson and BTJ would be the 2 that I would go with. Hunter said, Travis won. Oh, he won the Heisman? I assumed he would. He had the betting odds going against him. It's kind of crazy. I feel bad for Ashton Genty because just really the two-way player that Travis was gave him the advantage. Like, I didn't think Travis deserved to win the Biletnikoff as a wide receiver. I would have given it to Tet. There was a few other wide receivers that I think had better consideration, but I understand Travis kind of has all the hype. Not being a Colorado hater at all. I think it'll be interesting to see if he decides to be a cornerback or wide receiver in the NFL, because I don't think he's going to be able to play both. And I could be wrong. Edison said, I'm debating on Eagles or Broncos defense. I know you were debating that on Wednesday, and I think I'm still going to lean with the Broncos defense, my guy. But it's close. It's close. Senior said, my bad. At my niece's party. Hey, enjoying the party over here on the stream. You said, were they Akine, Dell, Keon? And your question was, hey, Caleb, I play Cup. Yeah. I'm not feeling great, but about these. But how many do you get to play? You need 2, you said? Senior, I'll be honest. I'm not feeling great about it. So I feel like I'm going to let you down no matter what I say. But I would go with Dell and Akine as the 2 with the highest upside there. Appreciate you, Senor. Wait. Are we starting Alvin Kamara or Garrett Wilson full PPR? Wait, I will be going with Alvin Kamara in full PPR. And guys, I appreciate all y'all so much. If you haven't already, hit that like button. We are 3 subscribers away from 4,200 subscribers, so I appreciate all y'all so much. Tony said, who has the higher upside this week, Downs or Pittman? In an Anthony Richardson-led offense? Neither. I'm just kidding. I live in Indiana, so it's just a joke. I think you got to lean Michael Pittman Jr. over Josh Downs, but both have been... You don't feel confident starting either, Tony, but I would go with Michael Pittman. Dynasty 39 says, Darnold or Knicks? You have Sutton and Nico locked in, but do I go Ladd or Addison? Some great questions here. Dynasty, I would be going with Sam Darnold this week over Bo Nix. Like the matchup a little bit better for Sam Darnold. And then between Ladd and Addison, I would go with Ladd, assuming that he plays, over Addison. Addison's that boom-bust wide receiver 3, where you're going to play him, and he's probably going to put up 5 fantasy points, and then you're going to bench him, and he's going to put up 40. So that's the unfortunate part about Addison. But I prefer I feel like Ladd has similar ceiling and floor that I prefer. Casey said, could you pick up Josh Allen in the first round next year? Probably, potentially. He's been that much of a game winner. I think, Casey, if I'm with my strategy and what I'm going to tell you guys to do next year, like, I do think this was one of the years where I got a ton of, kind of as I was saying, like the pendulum swings. The early round quarterbacks, they got to a point where then the elite level guys, like, Patrick Mahomes was being drafted like an elite level guy, but like Josh Allen, Hurts, and Mahomes were all getting pushed to the back end of the third and to the even like sometimes middle end of part of the fourth, which was insane. And that was just crazy good value in your home leagues, in even underdog drafts that started to happen. So I think going into next year, those guys will probably be, like we said, early third, if not back end second. I probably won't be taking Josh Allen in the first, though. I'll just take some other quarterback value. Like if you could find like a Jaden Daniels, it'll be better value. And then Jeff said, Otten or Hawkinson this week? Jeff, I will be going with Hawkinson this week. Hunter said, Bengals are going to draft Genty, but totally agree Ashton should have won. Yeah, no, I'm with you. We'll see if the Bengals do it. I mean, Chase Brown looks pretty good, but I think he'll be a top 15 pick for sure. The Bengals got a lot of needs, and I don't think running back is necessarily at the top. TBR said, hey, Caleb, start 2, please. Charbonnet, BTJ, Drake London, JT. Yeah, I will be going with Drake London and Charbonnet here, TBR. Those would be the 2 that I would look to add. We got Jeff said, I dropped the Steelers D for the Ravens D this week. Thoughts? Yeah, I'd go with the Ravens, versus the Giants. I think that's absolutely electric. I know the Steelers next week. I'm trying to think of who they're going up against next week. Like, yeah, the next 2 weeks, Philadelphia and Baltimore. You don't feel good about starting the Steelers as much as they've been an elite level defense. So I think that's a good move for you, Jeff. And then we got Senior said, thanks, bro. After that Thursday night game, my lineup got ugly. Yeah, it got ugly real quick. And you still said, I still have my homeboy, Bijan, Chase Brown left off, so we'll see. Cool, dude. Good luck. Wishing you luck this week. Hopefully you absolutely crush it. Juan said, sorry, let's redo this, Poppy. I already put in Kyron and Juwan Jen. Okay, that's what I assumed. So I need a flex and an RB2. Yeah, RB2 will go with Zach Charbonnet. And then in regards to a flex, I would go with... I'm looking at your running back. I'd probably lean with Brees, assuming he plays. But if Brees is looking, like we said, tomorrow, like he's not going to play, then I go with Jacoby Myers. There, one. Hope that helps you. And then Edison said, last year I had no idea what I was doing. I drafted Mahomes at 106 pick. LOL. Hey, Edison, like we said, everyone learns. I think the fact that you found this channel, next year we're going to be able to help you draft a better squad. And yeah, that's the whole thing. And I think sometimes, like we said, drafting's like a lot of luck sometimes too. Like this year, if you would have drafted a team at the beginning of the season, like I saw a squad in one of my leagues. It was like Saquon, Derrick Henry, Rashee Rice, and Malik Neighbors. That was his first 4 picks. If that, like after week 5, you're probably like, holy crap, like I'm in. Like I'm gonna win the championship. Then you have the Rashee Rice injury. We see Malik Neighbors get concussed. Probably not feeling so great about that roster. So like, fantasy football is a ton of luck, but will definitely be helping you a lot next season. And then J-Rad, you said, what's your opinion? Oh, did you not hear me already talk about Brock Bowers? I think he probably ends up somewhere around 106 or 107. I don't think it'll be the 102. Jeff said, where do you have Dowdle ranked this week? Great question, my guy. Have him sliding in as my RB14. So he's pretty high. High end RB2. Moses said, last question, Caleb. He has to wipe his hands. He sent this super chat in, and he said, I'm getting out of here. I'm just kidding. Just kidding, Moses. Appreciate you. You said Jalen Hurts or Baker Mayfield. I know I always say, like, in these instances, and it's not really great advice. It's really just, like, go with your stud. Like, I understand Jalen Hurts is going up against Pittsburgh, so you're probably like, not feeling the best about it. But I still have Jalen Hurts as a top 5 QB this week. I have Baker sliding in as my QB 13. So I would go with Jalen Hurts there, Moses. And then Hunter said, since you are answering all these draft questions for next year, what do you think of Jamar in the first round, then Achane and Burrow in the second and third? If that happens, I think the hype will be out of control for Achane with the projection that he's probably going to go at the turn. I would imagine, Hunter, just because he's a young running back. Like, where Gibbs was going this year at like the anywhere between 111 to 202, I would imagine that Achane probably makes it up into that 202 to 112 range. Would be my estimation there, Hunter. Maybe we should do that. Maybe that would be a dope video to do for next week of like an early 2025 redraft league. And if we want to do one, I'll say this: if you guys are interested in doing that with me, we might just do it off stream. Because if I recorded it as a video, it would do a lot better. So if you guys actually are interested in doing like a mock draft for next year, drafting for 2025, I think that'd be a dope content idea. So if we want to do that, I'll make a post and see if you guys are interested in, and then we'll do it. TBR said, well, Caleb, one more question. Start D-Hop, Myers, Pacheco. Thanks for all the help this season. Appreciate you. We'll go with Myers, and then I'll go with Pacheco. Of course, appreciate you, TBR. And listen, I understand we're a little bit worried about Pacheco's workload, but I would go with Isaiah Pacheco. His snap share has been going up the last 2 weeks as they ramp him back up. J Red said, what's your opinion on Gus Edwards versus Vidal? Sorry, hit the send button by accident last call. Oh, I got you. I mean, I think Vidal will continue to push. I think he's the more explosive option in this offense. I mean, this week I still have Gus Edwards ranked ahead, but like I said, I'm not feeling the best about either one of them. Because, I mean, last week we saw versus Kansas City, Vidal had a 34% or 53% snap share and only put up 3.4 fantasy points. So, I don't know. Neither would be my answer, J-Rod, but I'd go with Gus Edwards if I had to pick one. Edison said, my friend had drafted CMC, Ayuk, and Godwin. Yeah, that would be a team where you're like, oh, yeah, I'm in. You see Godwin start to pop off. And you're like, yeah, I just need CMC back. And, yeah, down the tubes. Jeff said, I think the Titans will be playing catch-up against the Bengals, so I'm going to go with Ridley over BTJ. Like it, Jeff. I like it. Casey said, I drafted AR5 in the 6th round and went Burrow in the 8th round. I need a backup plan in case AR5 isn't what we thought he was. Ended up getting a steal. Yeah, I can't believe Burrow fell to the 8th. I mean, I saw Burrow go a ton in the 6th. Like, that was his range. And honestly, if you got Burrow in the 6th, you're feeling great. If you got, like, Daniels in the 8th or 9th, that's also elite. I have a team in a 12-man where I drafted Daniels as my backup to Josh Allen. That's been super nice, being able to play those matchups week in and week out, especially when Daniels was cooking. Now it's just like Allen's in there all the time. Like that for you, Casey. Dynasty 39 said down. Down question. Down. Oh, you're down. Oh, like for yeah. Like, yeah, let's do it. If you guys, I forgot I had offered what we were talking about. Yeah, if we want to do it, I'll make a community post about it. So just make sure you guys have my post notifications turned on. And then we'll do it. But if we do it, I just want you to know, I'll set it as a time. Like, we're going to record it this time because otherwise I'm not doing like an all day or like whatever. Like, we'll do it like 30-second picks and go from there. Cool. Hunter's in. Cool. Trick said, got first round buys in both leagues, waiting to see my players go off this week and then do nothing while last week. That's typically what happens, man. That's typically what happens. They absolutely pop off and then you're like, what the heck? What the heck am I supposed to do? Senor said that would be interesting. I know after this year, Lamb gonna fall a little bit next year. He will definitely fall a little bit next year. But yeah. We got some, listen, fellas. Listen, I literally have, what is this? Edison says, these ads are killing me. Listen, I have it set for the conservative thing. You guys would actually be crazy if when I put monetization on, not that I do this for monetization at all, because I make like $4 from the stream, but it actually promotes my video more to new, like, reach. So I appreciate you guys sticking through the ads. Trust me. I have it set to like the lowest setting. I want you guys to know, like, some people put them like every 2 to 5 minutes. I'm like, no, like every, I think I have it as like conservative. That's how it's, so sorry, Edison. Yeah, see, Senor's not even seen him. He said, what's ads? He hasn't even got one. The Roll said 07 said, thoughts on JJ McCarthy in Dynasty 2 QB? Yeah, I think he's a really great value right now. I think if you're doing like a startup or like, he probably would be someone that I'm drafting, you know, in the 4th or 5th round, just because he will get a shot. I understand a lot of people are worried about Sam Darnold, but I think they're going to, I mean, they drafted him at top 10. He will be getting an opportunity here over the next year and a half. So I do think he's definitely valuable. TBR said, do you trust Desmond Ridder to be able to maintain Myers and Bowers as valuable fantasy football options? Yes. Because I understand there's a drop off between Gardner and Aiden, but not enough for me to be like, uh-oh. I mean, they're going up against Atlanta, and Atlanta's secondary has been suspect all season. So I do like the Atlanta defense going up against, you know, the Vegas Raiders as a sneaky defense this week, but I wouldn't be super concerned, especially for Bowers. I mean, Myers maybe a little bit more. Myers is sliding in as my wide receiver 23 this week, but other than that, that's kind of where I'm at. Daniel says, same question from the other night, but still Flowers or Thielen, Marvin Harrison Jr., or Waddle thinks. I forget what I said the other night. I think I said Flowers. Now I'm debating myself. Yeah, I think we still go Flowers. I think it's between Flowers and Waddle. And I lean Flowers there. Daniel. The Roll said, I saw him go at the 201 in a startup 12-man. That's crazy. Yeah, I'm not that high on him. I understand maybe people are thinking that he can do the exact same thing. Yeah, Daniel, I'd still go Flowers. I'm going with myself again. I understand. I couldn't take him at the 201 in a startup. I mean, I still have him way above. I mean, Drake. Where did Drake May go? Because I still have Drake May above him. Bo Nix. I mean, he's probably in the same range as a Michael Penix, honestly. Edison said, when you draft the rookies at what round? So we were talking, I know the Roll, he's talking about Dynasty Fantasy Football, which is a little bit different in Dynasty startups, which is like when you're doing a startup level draft for Dynasty. So Edison, we'll definitely be talking more Dynasty Fantasy Football like later on the season, and maybe we'll talk through like what Dynasty is and how to play and kind of the strategies that go along with it, because I know a lot of people that aren't aware of it. Like, I know you just kind of started playing fantasy football, which is awesome. But typically when we're talking from a redraft perspective, it depends on the quality. So like next year, there'll be a running back called Ashton Genty. And he'll probably be someone that should be drafted in the 1st or 2nd round, depending on where he lands. Yeah, like this year we saw Marvin Harrison Jr. being drafted in the 2nd round. Even though that probably wasn't appropriate. We saw Malik Neighbors going in the 3rd or 4th round. Just kind of depends on what level of rookies there are. Typically, I would say the sweet spot to get really great value on rookies is typically between rounds 5 to round 7. That's kind of historically where the sweet spot has been. Yep, I'm still going with Flowers. And TBR said, "Hey chat, hit the like and subscribe button. Appreciate you, TBR." And we're sitting right now. We are 2 subscribers away from our subscriber goal for the night. So if you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. Helps me out so much. Appreciate you, TBR. Thanks for hyping up the chat. But we are getting to the point where we're probably about 15 minutes from getting out of here. I know it's been a little bit slower of a stream just because It's Saturday night. I didn't tell people. We don't typically stream on Saturday nights. And a lot of people already got their start sit decisions locked in. So appreciate it. And then the roll said, hold on, let me find the mock. Yeah, find that mock and let me know where Drake May went. I got a rebuilding dynasty team where I traded away Patrick Mahomes at the beginning of the season for Kyler Murray, Drake May, and Xavier Worthy, and ended up flipping Xavier Worthy for a first. So I'm feeling very good about that move there, the roll. Edison said, what about someone like Bucky? What round? Oh, man. Bucky was going super in redraft this year. He was probably going somewhere around like round 10 to round 12. I mean, I wasn't drafting a whole lot of Bucky, honestly, Edison. He was probably someone that was waiver wire. Like, that's kind of where he was at. But yeah, that's where I really feel like rounds 5 to rounds 10, like a lot of that, like if you hit on a rookie like Bucky, that's absolutely dominant. Andrew said, do you have a taxi squad in Dynasty? Yes. Yeah, so typically, like the league I'm in, Andrew, I'm in one with Andrew over from the league FFB. And typically you have somewhere between, like, I would say, like 2 to 4 taxi spots. Daniel said, CD Lamb or Hall? I will be going with CD Lamb, Daniel, over Hall this week. Jesus said, got a lot of injuries at wide receiver on one of my leagues. Going to have to start either Elijah Moore or pick up Coleman, Odunze, Dell, McLeod, Avail, or Palmer from the waiver wire. What should you do? Jesus, I will personally be going with Elijah Moore. Like we said, we don't know. David Njoku's probably going to play. Even if he doesn't, that's better for Elijah Moore. But I think Elijah Moore will get plenty of targets in this game. That I prefer him over all those other options for you, Jesus. J-Rod said, if your bowl game is week 18, do you even strategize different because week 8? If your championship game is week 18, do you strategize different because week 18 some teams are sitting these stars or pulling them at half? Yeah, definitely, for sure, J-Rod. I feel like if you're still doing week 18 championships, it's unfair. Like, I really think it's unfair. Like, for instance, so like one of my paid leagues, what we do is week 17. So we set up the playoffs. So it's week 15, week 16, week 17 is the championship. And then week 18 is what we call like a free-for-all. And so everyone, so like, let's say you didn't make the playoffs. Like, we want to keep everyone involved. So every time you make a waiver wire move in this league, it's a paid league. So it's $75 buy-in. And then every time you make a waiver wire move, it's $2. So then that $2 pot by the end of the season, 2 times however many moves you make, like most people make like, 20 to 25, that pot then gets thrown in like a large pot where then at the end, everyone submits like their super team, like where I can go and take any player that I want and put them on my roster. And whoever scores the most fantasy points from that. So like everyone's going to have like Saquon Barkley or Derrick Henry on their roster or whatever. But whoever scores the most points takes home that pot of cash from the waiver wire additions from the season. So it's a really cool way to do it. I just would recommend going forward that you don't do week 18 championships. Edison says, I'm asking, next year when you draft... Oh, next year, when am I going to draft Bucky? Bucky's probably going to end up being, I would say, like a 4th round pick. Or even like a 3rd round. Depending. But it depends on what they do. Because this next year's running back class, I think like running backs is the hardest thing because there's about 5 to 8 really good running backs coming out of college that if they land, they're going to be landing on some of these teams and absolutely messing up the backfield. So I would say probably round 4 is where Bucky will end up, if not later. Greg said, I'm going to cry. I come so far to lose. Greg, I'm so sorry, bro. If you lose, I apologize. But yeah, I know. I'm in the same boat. Listen, sadly, there's in 10 or 12 leagues, only one person wins. So you gotta really thread the needle here. Greg said Travis Hunter really won Heisman over Genty. That's the crazy thing. I understand why he did. I mean, the hype was there. Colorado did a really great job of marketing him, but no, Genty in any other year would win. The roll said he was QB9 off the board ahead of Caleb Williams, Love, Kyler May. Yeah, that's someone smoking some really good JJ McCarthy juice. I would personally, of course, I'm taking Caleb Williams, Love, Kyler May. Next, I'm taking all those guys over JJ McCarthy. Jesus said start Richardson or Williams, May also on waiver wire. So we're streaming some quarterback this week, Jesus. trying to think of where I have Drake. It's between Anthony Richardson and Drake May for me. I probably lean I think I go Drake May. Based on what I saw from that Arizona Cardinals defense last week, it was a little suspect. Now, you would say that Anthony Richardson before the bye week versus New England, he put up 23.2. But that's a different defense than like a Denver Broncos defense. But we saw him absolutely ball out versus the Jets. So it's close. It's between Anthony Richardson and Drake May. I think I just maybe sold myself on Anthony Richardson, Jesus, but that just feels super risky in the playoffs. So does Drake May. I would go with Anthony Richardson, Jesus. Final answer. Going with my gut there. Greg said, do you think Gentry gets Bijan fantasy hype as a rookie? Gentry go, I don't even, no, I'm 100% there. Yeah, I think at least when we're talking from like a dynasty perspective, Greg already, like I think Bijan had a little bit better competition going up again, being at the University of Texas, playing some, more Power 5 games than what Genty went up against out of Boise State. But we saw like when he went up against Oregon, he absolutely demolished Oregon. So I think he's probably going to get top 15 draft capital, and he's probably going to get the same exact type that Bijan got. Now, we all saw how that worked out for Bijan, so what I don't want to hear us say is, hey, Genty is Bijan, don't draft a RB that's drafted in the first round, rookie level RB. We saw what happened with Bijan. Like, these are going to be two separate use cases. I do think Gentry is super talented, so I would be it'll be interesting to see where he lands. But if he gets a super bad landing spot, like if he lands on like, trying to think of a bad landing spot with someone that has a really good RB in like the top 15 picks, like let's say like the Jets took, I know the Jets won't, but if the Jets took him, then it'd be like, what the heck? Like you already got Braylon Allen and Breece Hall. But if he lands on a juicy team, that could definitely be something that's interesting. Casey said, would you start Philadelphia Eagles or Washington Commanders defense? Casey, I will be going with the Washington Commanders defense there, my guy. Appreciate ya. Guys, we're getting, chat's slowing down a little bit. The chat is slowing down a little bit. So put those last second start sit questions in. I'm probably going to be out of here in the next 5 minutes. But I appreciate each and every one of y'all because it's my whole goal to help you win a fantasy football championship and just to be able to continue to build this community. That's awesome. So I appreciate all y'all. Been awesome. But an awesome season. When I think like some of my first videos, honestly, this is like full transparency. I'm rambling as I'm waiting for more questions to come in. Like when the season started, we started really going hard redraft content back in July, I would say. And honestly, the July numbers were decent, but then all of a sudden we got to August when it's typically like, oh, things are starting to turn around. And like between, what would this have been? Like August 14th to like August 30th were like not good for me. And I was like so confused on like what was happening. And then all of a sudden y'all just started tuning in and it just went absolutely crazy. And so now I can't thank you guys enough for all the love and support you guys have given me this season. It means the absolute world. We got the roll said Gentry's greater than Bijan. I mean, I don't know. The worry is with teams is that he's had a lot more wear and tear. So that's the biggest thing with Genty over Bijan. Greg said Broncos kicker or Vikings kicker. I would be going with the Vikings kicker this week. Jake Bates is my number one. Andrea, have a great night. Andrea, thanks so much for tuning in. I know you asked one question, then you hopped out of here. Appreciate you, Andrea. Greg said, what happened to the Ollie Gordon hype? I think it stopped when he got arrested, that DUI, earlier this offseason. I think Ollie Gordon will definitely get like a, where are we going to say? Like a, probably a round 4 draft capital. But yeah, it's definitely not there anymore. TJ, thanks for tuning in. You said Jacoby Myers or AJ Brown. TJ, I will be riding the hype of AJ Brown. They're my guy. So give me some AJ Brown. Ride or die. I understand it hasn't been great. There, TJ. But give me some AJ Brown. Have AJ Brown as a top 8 wide receiver this week. I have Jacoby Myers as my wide receiver 25. TJ, I think you just subscribed too, so I appreciate you so much for tuning in. Like I said, I'm answering all-star. Well, you're tuning in now, but I answered all-star sit questions all throughout the season on all my videos. So going forward, pumped to be here and to answer all your questions, man. Think that might be the last one. So like I said, guys, I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in, asking your star sit question. Oh, nope. I was trying to gradually get our way out of here. Someone popped in and subscribed. Shout out to whoever just subscribed. We did just hit our subscriber goal. Appreciate you so much. Like I said, we're answering all star sit questions this season. So I want to be here for you as we're heading into the most important time of your fantasy football season. Greg said, I started Cup. I'm leaning Tua over Hurts now. Am I crazy? Greg, I'm so sorry you started Cup. That is not ideal. Not putting up that big burger, but nothing burger. But I personally would go Hurts over Tua still this week. So yeah. Give me Hurts over Tua, even though that's it. And Tyler, listen, Tyler, I need to just say this about Tyler. Tyler, thanks for being in the part of this community. Thanks so much for the $2 super chat. I feel like I was tuning into a stream, Tyler. I'm trying to remember who it was. It was someone in the space. Like I said, I'm a big, as much as I make my own content, I'm in the streets. I interact. I'm a part of a lot of other communities here too. And I saw Tyler submitting a super chat on another channel. I was like, dude, Tyler's out here. Like, he's out here in the streets. And so it was good to see you. But thanks so much, Tyler, for the $2 super chat. You said Reed or Myers, Lutz, or Rachel's kicker? Tyler, who's Rachel's? Reed or Myers, Lutz. Yeah, let me go through my kicker rankings really quick. Yeah, I think we go Lutz. Except Tyler. Who are the other two kickers? Because I got Lutz pretty high. And then you said, Tyler, let me know. I think I'm going Lutz because I'm a top 6 kicker, but I don't know who you mean by Rachel's kicker. But I have Lutz over Reed and Myers. I lean Lutz. But Reed or Myers and Lutz are okay. I see. It's two separate questions, Tyler. Sorry, I'm being an idiot. I would go with Lutz, and then between Myers or Reed at wide receiver, can we send out Jaden Reed and feel comfortable with it? I don't think we can. So I personally go with Myers over Reed. I go Myers and I go Lutz. There, Tyler. Appreciate you, Ricard. Oh, Ricard. Thank you. And you sent another $2, bro. You didn't have to send another $2. I actually go with Ricard over Lutz. So I'll go with Ricard and then I'll go with Myers there, Tyler. Thanks so much for the 4, bro. You didn't need to send. I was watching the chat, bro. But thank you so much for the 2. Appreciate you, homie. Jared, I haven't seen you in a minute, bro. Thanks for tuning in. You said Herbert or Hurts. I'd go with Hurts this week. I would go with Hurts. Give me Hurts as a top 5 option. I understand going up against Pittsburgh's not ideal, but give me Hurts. And then TJ, I missed yours. You said Jalen or JD5. I'll go with Jaden Daniels over Jalen Hurts this week, TJ. Appreciate you. The roll says start 1, Tank Bigsby, Swift, or Keenan. It's close between Swift and Bigsby, but I still lean DeAndre Swift. But continue to monitor that. He does have that groin injury, so he was limited today. So there's a chance that you just might want to go with Tank Bigsby just out of pure health, the role. But I lean Swift if he's going to be playing. Jay Remney said, any reasoning why you picked Dalton Schultz over someone like Dalton Kincaid or Mike Gesicki? I think Mike Gesicki, the issue with him for me was with T. Higgins coming back, the Mike Gesicki role has just kind of vanished from earlier on in the season. And then Dalton Kincaid, like we said, we just haven't seen good production, consistent production, week in and week out. And when we're looking at Dalton Schultz, I think not that we're looking at week 13 versus Jacksonville, but I just think the target share hasn't been great, but I think he has the highest touchdown upside out of all of them, Jay Remy. So that's kind of where I went. It was between Kincaid and Schultz, but I still lean Schultz. But I don't feel confident on it, Jay Remy. I don't feel confident at all. Clutch said, can't trust Bucky, sadly. So it's Javonte, Kendry, McNilla, Algier, Benson. It's going to be a gnarly start. Clutch, I'm 100% there with you. I would go with Javonte if you're not going to go with Bucky, but I still feel like I would just go with Bucky and pray that he can make it through that hit pointer. Because I don't think any of these guys can provide the same level of upside. Potentially, if something happens, and goes crazy, we all know it's fantasy football and things can get weird. But I probably still lean Bucky, assuming he can play. Jose said 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, 1 flex, 1 tight end. AJ Lamb, Connor, Dowdle, Charbonnet, John Hawkinson, Hall. Yep. So running back, we will be going with Zach Charbonnet. 1 wide receiver, we will be going. Do I have AJ Brown or CeeDee Lamb higher this week? I have to just double check. Yeah, I'll be going with AJ Brown. And then 1 flex, I will be going with. I will be going with James Conner. And then I will be going with TJ Hawkinson. Now, it's super close, Jose. If you prefer CeeDee Lamb over Conner, I would understand. I would understand that. Carolina matchup, pretty juicy for CeeDee Lamb. Have him as my wide receiver 13 this week. I just have James Conner as my RB12, so I lean the running back there. So I would go with AJ, Connor, and Charbonnet and Hawkinson. But like I said, if you really want to go with CD over Connor, I won't blame you. Froggy says, should I put Keenan Allen in over Sutton? Probably not, but wondering because of his matchup. No, Froggy. I would go with Cortland Sutton. Jay Remy said, Hurts or Bo Nix? I will be going with Jalen Hurts over Bo Nix. Greg said, no QB scored 20 points on Steelers D all year. Listen, it's a valid argument, Greg, but no one else does the tush push. I mean, if we're looking at rushing for Jalen Hurts, dude just has a knack for falling in the end zone with that tush push. And so even if he has like we said, like a 7 to, if he has a rushing floor of like, let's say, even if he scores, let's say it's 6 fantasy points, he rushes for like 10 yards, 7 fantasy points. Like there's a high probability that he's going to be able to get close to that 20 fantasy football number. So I lean Jalen Hurts as a QB5, but I understand. If you're debating it. Jared said, thanks, man. Been busy, but glad I could catch a live finally. Keep up the good work. Appreciate you, Jared. Always here for you, man. Jared was one of my first subscribers. I just got to give a shout out to Jared. So thanks for being here, man. We got Johnny back in the building. Said Michael Pittman or Christian Watson. Yuck, Johnny. Couldn't have given me like Tim Patrick. I would have just been able to give you that, been like, yeah, take Tim Patrick, Got to pull up the rankings here because I ain't feeling confident. I am not feeling confident whatsoever, but I would go with Michael Pittman Jr. But if Christian Watson goes out and catches 2 tutties, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Johnny. But I go with Michael Pittman. Jay Remy said, if Njoku ends up playing, should I start him still? Jay Remy, who are we debating against? Against your other tight ends? Like, I'm still starting Njoku over Dalton Schultz. Yeah, for sure. But if it's a different question, let me know. Joe said, hey, Caleb, need Jamar to light it up tomorrow. Bro, same. Let's hope we're in the same thing. So let's go have him light it up tomorrow. Joe, what's happening to your boy LeBron? Is he ever going to come back? If this is how he goes out, this is ridiculous. I'm a little bit worried that he was part of a Diddy party, but it's okay. Jared said, for QB in stuck between Hurts and Daniels, and for my last flex spot, I could play either Higgins or B. Robinson, full PPR. Jared, I'm assuming this is not Bijan. I'm assuming this is Brian Robinson. So between the two quarterbacks, I would be going with Jaden Daniels over Jalen Hurts. And then between Mr. T. Higgins and Mr. Brian Robinson, just double checking where I have both. I believe we're going to be going with T. Yeah, I'll go with T. I'll go with T, and then I would go with Jaden Daniels there, Jared. But it's super close there, my guy. So if I get this wrong for you, I apologize. But give me Jaden Daniels, and then give me T. Higgins. And understand why you're stuck. Jay Remy said, QB Hurts, Chase, Gibbs, Collins, Adams, Schultz, Jared Judy, standard PPR, any changes? Yeah, if Njoku's healthy, I'll play Njoku over Schultz for sure. And then I think it's between Drake London and Devontae Adams in your wide receiver spot, Jay Remy. I think I'm cool to keep Devontae Adams there. I mean, I have Drake London higher ranked, so I probably would flip out Drake London and Devontae Adams, but I know you're pretty high on Devontae Adams this week, which is fine. Other than, yeah, I would flip Njoku, assuming he's going to play. But good luck to you this week here, Jay Remy. Craig said, my team sucks. Are you talking about your Pistons? Are you talking about the Pistons, man? Or are you talking about your actual fantasy football team? Because to be fair, both ain't looking too hot. But I say both, but I know you're hanging on by prayer, Greg. So sending my thoughts and prayers over to you. And then Jared said, "In Caleb we trust." Appreciate you, Jared. Thanks for tuning in, my guy. And I've never noticed this. Why can't I zoom in on your picture? Is that a snake? Like, what's around your neck? Is that a snake? That's insane. I just now realized that. I guess I haven't ever squinted close enough. Jay Remy said, hard not to be high on Adams after that 26 bomb last week. Help me get to playoff. I understand. Trust your studs, right? Yeah, I mean, yeah, but I would argue that that Drake London's been more of a stud this year than Devontae Adams. But Devontae Adams, I did call it last week. That was one of my only good calls that I felt like I had. I had a lot of strikes last week. But, yeah, the Devontae Adams, that was a good one. Greg said, fantasy, come on now. Pistons on, come up. Okay, I'm not trying to shout out your Pistons. This is funny, Greg. So I grew up in Ohio, but I grew up being a huge, like, Dwayne Wade fan. Like, when he was at Marquette, I always viewed myself, I was like a combo guard in school, so I always just loved Dwayne Wade's game, so I would just love the Miami Heat. And so, of course, when LeBron went to the Miami Heat, like, everyone always called me a bandwagoner because they're like, you like the Miami Heat, and it's like, I like Dwayne Wade, and so I've continued to like the Miami Heat, and so we'll see. I think we're gonna trade away Jimmy, and we need to, because our team freaking sucks, and we have no hope in salary cap hell. So hopefully we figure it out. Appreciate you, Greg, though. Jay Remy said, dude, you can make the chats on the screen bigger. Yeah, I can. But some of, like, when it gets super big, then it's kind of annoying. Yeah, so anyway, we just did it. Cade said, Cade's a borderline off start. Yeah, he is. They just need some better pieces around him. And Jared said, yeah, Snake. Eleanor, right after I got off the plane in Vegas, some guy asked if I wanted to hold it, and somehow I said yes. Yeah, man, I'm scared of snakes. I honestly can say this, Jared. I've never touched a snake. Like, all those, like, when you went to, like, the zoo and they held out, like, a snake or, like, this. Like, I've just, nope, no can do. I won't even touch one. Sports Dog 1000 said 18 PPR Superflex. I need 2 flexes. We got Brian Robinson, Zach Charbonnet, Terry McLaurin, Jordan Addison, or DJ Moore. Thanks. Yeah, we'll be going with Zach Charbonnet here. And then between the 2 Commanders, it's between Scary Terry and Brian Robinson. I think we got to go with Scary Terry. Zach Charbonnet and Scary Terry. Even though the worry for me here, Sports Dog, just so you know, is that the Commanders are going to get up early and then they're just going to hand the ball off to Brian Robinson a ton in the second half. That's my worry here. But give me Zach Charbonnet and Scary Terry. Greg said, I understand. I'm the biggest D Rose fan ever. And I loved watching D Rose. I think So this is another like backstory that I'm waiting on more questions to come in. But Greg, so my family never had cable growing up. Like my parents just like never invested into it, but we had like this network where we got WGN. So we got the Chicago stations, and I watched so many Bulls games during Derrick Rose's rookie season. Like even before, like watching like Ben Gordon and Luol Deng, and then seeing that first playoff series with him versus the Pistons, like that had like Rodney Stuckey and Prince, and yeah, that was awesome. Derrick Rose as a rookie and a second year player, absolutely insane. So I'm sad that he got hurt because I feel like we got cut short. Like he was better than what D Rose or what Russell Westbrook turned into. Crazy. Jay Remy said, Bills versus Detroit. Who you got winning? I think I got to ride with the Bills. I think the loss last week to the Rams has a sour taste in their mouth. So I personally think the Bills, and I just think Josh Allen's a man on a mission to get the MVP. Jared said, are you using the same fantasy football leagues every year? Do you switch it up? It would be cool if you did some sort of subscriber league that we could join. Jared, listen, bro. Listen, we've talked about, you probably haven't been here when we talked about this. We actually have a subscriber league going right now. This was our first year doing one. And I will say this, I got about 5 subscribers in it, and then me, and then I kept posting. It was like July and early August, and I literally could not get people to commit. Like no one would join the league. No one was interested. It was literally a $20 league. And so I had to go find a bunch of my buddies that support the channel, but like they're not like active subscribers to join the league. And I said, next year, I swear, we got to grow to the point that we have people that are going to be willing to join this. So next year for sure, we'll do maybe 1 or 2 subscriber leagues. And yeah, see, like Jay Remy he's already talking about, like people are already hype about it. So just make sure that you guys, like once we get to July next year, I understand we're about to be out of the fantasy football thought for like the next, year. But once we get to July, I start making content, and make sure you're just tuning in. You're checking the community, because I'll make a bunch of posts about it. But we'll definitely do a few subscriber leagues. Jay Remy said, any defenses I should target to set and forget for the playoffs? I've been streaming the waiver wire every week. Yeah, I would stream the waiver wire every week, because there's not like, I mean, I think you could argue that the Arizona Cardinals have some good matchups the next 2 weeks, but like the Green Bay Packers have a good matchup next week. Like I would play the matchups. I don't think there's any that I'm like, yep, the next 2 weeks, these guys are locked and loaded. Each of the next 2 weeks. And Jay Remy, all y'all are going down. Jonathan, got to start 3. We said Evans, Neighbors, London, Terry, Addison. Evans, London, Terry, Jonathan. Those would be the 3 that I'm going with. I don't trust Neighbors this week at all. So, no, I would be pulling off on him. And then Addison, I understand. I would love to have him higher. But yeah, I understand. He's right now, Addison's my like wide receiver 28. I feel like it's low after what I saw last week, and all of us have seen, but just that matchup versus Chicago, a little bit worried about. And then Jared says, no way, I'm sick. I've only been here for a few months. No, you're good. You're good, Jared. You're good. Like I said, I know a lot of people that just found me are like I know Jay Remy he found me like early on this year. So I think I know all y'all are jumping in at different times. So we'll definitely do some subscriber leagues next year. Yeah, I don't know how we'll do it, but I'll definitely be a part. Maybe we'll do 3. Like, I think that'll probably be my goal. Like, I can't spread myself too thin because I'm already in way too many leagues. But if we could do, I say one full of all subscribers, and then we can go from there to see if we need more. John Snow, appreciate you. You said start 1, Laporta, Jonnu, or Cotton. Dude, you got to ride the hot hand, John, of Jonnu Smith. Continue to ride the beast. Honestly, Jonnu besides Brock Bowers has been like the most consistent tight end over the last 4 weeks. So give me Jonnu Smith there, John. Appreciate you tuning in. And John, I think this might be your first time on the channel, so appreciate you being here. We got Paul also in the building. He said Richardson, Cooper Rush, or Ritter this week. Need help. Riddler. I almost like the Rizzler. Yeah, dude, I understand you need help. I personally go with Richardson. Understand it's not the most ideal matchup, but have him as my QB16, which is higher than Ritter and Cooper Rush this week, Paul. So appreciate you so much for tuning in. And guys, like if this is your first time tuning into the channel, welcome so much. We are answering every start sit question this season, as well as posting videos and answering all our comments. So appreciate you, Paul, for being here. We buy homes near you. 512. Now in PPR, if Breece Hall is cleared to play tomorrow, am I starting Rachaad White or Tony Pollard over him? I think we're still starting Tony Pollard. I'd start Tony Pollard over Breece Hall. But that's the only one. Now, Rachaad White, if Bucky, like I said, if there's a chance that Bucky's out, I think Rachaad White goes flying up our boards. But I think I still lean Tony Pollard. But you got some really good options there. We buy homes near you. Sports Dog, 18 PPR Superflex. You have Jordan Love or Justin Herbert. Can't make up my mind on what quarterback to use. Thanks again for your help. Of course, Sports Dog. I would be going with Justin Herbert. Jordan Love versus Seattle. He's just been inconsistent down the stretch. We haven't seen an over 20-point DA since week 11. Give me Justin Herbert in that Superflex spot. Matt Wingo said, subscriber Dynasty League. I know. See, the thing is with redraft, and this is my thing, Matt. I have so many Dynasty Leagues that I'm already in that I know this would be something that y'all want. I'm thinking about it, Matt. I've been thinking about it. I won't give you a final answer right now, but tune in this offseason. There's a chance. There's a chance for sure. I always say no, and then I get the urge. The issue is, Matt, I'm just spending so much money right now on my buy-ins each and every year that trying to convince the wife of that budget inflating is always a hard one. Miguel said, Flex 1, Hill, Hall, Neighbors, or Stevenson. I'm leaning Hill. Miguel, I'm right there with you. I would 100% be going with Tyreek Hill. I have him highest in my rankings. Jared said, when is your next collab with Noah? Jared, listen, bro. You are... so I actually... This is a funny story, Jared. So... and I'll answer everyone else's questions here in a second. But so Noah... so when I first started my YouTube journey, I was part of a channel called Trades and Grades. It was a Dynasty-focused channel where we did like kind of a podcast. And then what ended up happening was I wanted to make a ton of redraft content and stuff. And so me and Noah just decided it would be better if I created my own channel. And while he kind of, we still could do the trades and grades and whatever, but then Noah got married. He was studying for CPAs and kind of honestly got really too busy to do content. Now he has a kid. And so I've actually talked to Noah about potentially coming on the channel this off season about Dynasty. I know he hasn't made content in a little bit. We still have that, the Discord channel. But yeah, honestly, Jared, I've offered to buy the Trades and Grades channel to have as my second channel because I think that'd be super dope. I want to get that back up and going, but I don't know if Noah's going to be willing to part ways with it because I think he always thinks that he might come back to it. But that's kind of the story, a little bit behind the scenes there, Jared. So, yeah, I love Noah. He's a great friend. Appreciate you, Paul. Thanks for tuning in. Miguel said, my lineup right now is Lamar Jackson, Charb, Alvin. Yeah, you got it exactly how I would have it. Boom, Miguel. Good luck, bro. You have it how I would have it. Paul said, Njoku or Stone Smart this week. Listen, Stone Smart, a lot of people have been pushing him for the Chargers. Especially after last week, but I still go with Njoku there, Paul. I'm not overthinking that. Give me Njoku. Jonathan said, if playing against Jane Daniels or Brian Robinson, should I start Terry McLaurin or Addison? I have Terry McLaurin as a top 10 wide receiver this week, so I would go with Terry McLaurin there, Jonathan. We buy homes near you. Said Breece and Pollard both play at 12 p.m. and Rachaad White at 3:25. Do you know if there will be any updates on Bucky's status before 12 p.m. tomorrow? Probably not. Which probably leaves us in a spot where you're probably just going to be forced to play Pollard. So I would just plan on playing Pollard. There we buy homes. But I do have Pollard ranked higher right now. Anyway. John said, I'm a little hesitant on Jonnu because he had 0 points before I came alive. Hey, I understand there's a little bit of concern. But dudes put up 28, 23, 21, and last week was a down day at 13.4. He's been on absolute fire. So you got to start Jonnu Smith. 100% John. That's your points per game advantage right there. Oh, Jared said, Jared West, there can only be one Jared in this chat. We're going to have to fight it out. Hey, listen, we'll put the ring right now up in front of everybody. You guys start swinging. Start swinging. We'll see who ends up being the final Jared at the end of the board. Now we got a bunch of cool people. We got a bunch of cool people here in this community. So Yeah, shout out to Jared West. He was, like I said, I think I had to, this was like right when I started my channel. And I think it was at like, I got like 30 of my closest friends and friends and family to like subscribe to the channel. And I was part of this Discord community, and I was like begging. I think I like messaged Jared like, hey, like, will you guys please subscribe to my channel? So yeah, Jared was probably one of my first 100, if not like 60. So I appreciate you, Jared. Shout out to Jared West, but Jared H, thanks for being here as well. No matter how long you've been here, I appreciate all of y'all. Okay, guys, we're getting to the point where I think I'm about to blow the can off this thing. But Jared West said Octagon. Yeah, we'll put. I don't know how we'll do it. We'll do it like virtually. You guys will have to like put on something, and we'll send you out there to fight. But we can have many Jareds, we can have many Calebs, we can have many Johns, like whatever. I don't care, as long as I can know who you are. And then there's a lot of this is so funny story. While we're waiting on another question, I got a call from an old friend that I haven't honestly spoken with probably since like high school, like early high school years. And he had been tuning into my channel, or turning into this. Honestly, he's been asking questions in the live chat for like the longest time. And I had no idea, zero idea that he was tuning in. But he gave me his username, and I'm like, oh, cool. Now I can put 2 and 2 together. But it's so weird. You never know who's watching you. But I appreciate all y'all. Appreciate everyone. Okay. Cool. Well, if you guys do have more start sit questions, feel free to fire them at the end of the stream in the comments or on another video, because I'm getting pretty tired. I got a big day tomorrow. So I appreciate each and every one of you. Wishing you guys all luck as you go for your fantasy football round 1 win. Oh, we got Casey said Todd Bowles said he will put D in line if Bucky doesn't play. Yeah, and he hasn't done that. No, I agree. So I do think Bucky's gonna play, but the worry is like how much. So that's kind of the biggest thing. But Casey, appreciate you tuning in for that insight. But yeah, guys, appreciate everyone. Have a great night. Enjoy tomorrow. Hopefully you guys all crush it. We'll be posting a waiver wire video over the next 2 days. More content coming out next week. Yeah. You guys all have a great rest of your Saturday night. Peace out.